All right, so since I put the Mr. Scary mod into my Badlander, let's see how it compares to one of the most brutal amps out there, the EVH Stealth. And should we be listening to all the naysayers in Facebook groups? You know what I'm talking about, all the know-it-alls that never tried anything, but they want to just poo-poo it anyways. And is the Mr. Scary mod for real, or is it just a gimmick that can be easily replaced by any overdrive pedal? All that and more in today's Riffs and Responses. Let's get started. Well, hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Riffs and Responses episode. I think this is number 28. I don't know. I lost track after 10. So, but anyways, appreciate you guys being here on a nice Sunday morning. Hope you're enjoying your coffee. I'm having evening coffee. That's where it's at for me. I was up pretty late last night. And anyways, enough about me. Let's get started with the freaking whatever I'm doing today. So, ever since I did this mod, a lot of people have been talking about it on Facebook, you know. I mean, I saw it today, like, so I saw somebody post something like, so who's buying a mod for their Badlander, or who's buying another Badlander today, or whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, Kyle Bull's video got a lot of views as well, so I'm sure they're referring to his as well as mine. But anyways, as soon as I started reading the comments about this, it was kind of comical, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody or be mean or anything, but I'm just telling you, like, if you're on a Facebook group, especially one of those gear groups, be careful who you listen to, because there's a lot of people that are naysayers when it comes to anything, because, you know, and again, no offense to the people who do this, but I mean, a lot of people just feel the need to sound like the smartest guy in the room by just saying no to things and saying, oh, that's just a bunch of bunk, or that's this, or that's that. And it's kind of unfortunate, because what happens is they're steering people away from trying something out that could actually be a really good idea for them, or a really good option for them. So my advice to people is, don't listen to these guys. Try everything out for yourself and see how it works for you, you know, and make the best decision for you, and take all of that stuff that you hear in these groups and just put it aside, because again, 99.9% of the people saying this stuff don't know what they're talking about, and most of them have never even tried those things anyways. They're just spewing a bunch of nonsense so that they can sound like the smartest guy in the room, you know, and it's really unfortunate. So I'm not going to dox anybody, but I'm going to read some of the comments here. And again, I'm not trying to be cruel or make fun of anybody, but I just want to dispel some of this stuff, because I can't believe some of the things that people are saying and how outrageously ignorant these things are. So I'll dispel some of that here. And I think I can do that because I actually did do the mod and played it. I installed it, I played it, and, you know, compared it and everything, and I'm telling you, it's freaking legit. It's for real.
I'm for real. I'm for real. So you better check yourself.
That mod is awesome, and I'm kind of ashamed of myself for not trying it earlier, to be honest with you. But if I find out something's really good on this channel, I always shout it from the rooftops, because I don't want you guys to miss out and make the same mistakes that I've made, you know? So anyways, let me go ahead and read some of these comments that I saw in a Facebook group today. And again, I'm not going to mention any names. And if these guys that made these comments are watching, I'm not trying to be cruel to you. I'm just doing this as a public service to my subscribers so that they don't fall for some of this stuff. And hopefully you'll change your mind as well. Now, these comments are all regarding the Mr. Scary mod in the Badlander, or the Mr. Scary mod in general. So one person said, the Fortin Application 33 is the best way for modern heavy sound. V1 tube mod is not the best way. It's okay. Overdrive is always better for tone. Going back and forth from clean to dirty and overall tone. Just saying. Well, first of all, you couldn't be more wrong. And again, I say this with respect, but This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. The Fortin 33 pedal is the absolute worst pedal for the Badlander because the Badlander already has issues with sounding full and having enough punch and low end and stuff like that. And if you stick a Fortin 33 in front of it, you're going to take whatever's left out of it, and it's just going to sound like all high-end and super thin and raspy and crappy. It's going to feel like shit. It's going to respond like shit, and all you're going to get is top end out of this thing and maybe some high mids. And the Fortin 33 is for flubby, gooey, tubby, sluggish amplifiers. That's what it's for. You never put a Fortin 33 in front of a tight, modern amp. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do. All right, here comes all the comments. Oh, I do it. Well, good for you. Enjoy your thin, raspy, shitty garbage sound, nails on a chalkboard. That's what your amp sounds like. And if that's what you like, hey, good for you, man. We all like different stuff. But I'm just telling you that Fortin 33 was made for very tubby, fat, ridiculously sluggish, flubby amps, not for amps like the Badlander. So by putting the mod in here, it added thickness, it added fullness, it added low end, it added punch, it added saturation, it added gain. It added every single thing that this amp was missing. And it did it in such a perfect way. And the feel and response of this amp is like 100% better now. So I guarantee you, if you shot out a Badlander with the mod in it and a Badlander being pushed or basically stabbed to death with a Fortin 33, I think you're going to pick the one with the mod in it. And again, stop saying this kind of nonsense if you haven't tried stuff and shot it out for yourself. That's why I do what I do here. And this couldn't be more wrong. So next comment that's completely wrong. Somebody said, I don't see how it does anything more than a super overdrive. Well, again, I respectfully disagree with you. An overdrive is going to push the front of the end and sculpt the low end and, just basically do that, okay? It's not going to, I mean, yeah, you can add some gain with the gain knob with the clipping diode, but that's really not the same thing as putting the mod in the V2 position so the gain is cascading through it and it's adding as it's cascading through it. It's adding to the other tubes or the other gain stages. And this is adding gain, punch, I mean, all the stuff that I already said. I'm not going to keep going over it, but this is not the same as adding an overdrive pedal to your amp. It's not. It's simply not. This is another gain stage with some other awesome tweaks as well, and it's an actual modification to the amp that you can plug in. And I don't care what overdrive pedal you use, what boutique, overdrive that you climbed Mount Everest to find from a monk and brought down and plugged into your pedal board, and it's made out of ancient Egyptian pyramid dust, I don't know, whatever, and it's not going to do the same thing that this mod does, okay? It's just not. So again, stop spewing nonsense. It's really foolish, and you're steering people away from things that might be a really good idea for them. And then there's another comment saying, from what I've heard, it's not doing anything massively different than a good old overdrive pedal would do in the front. Again, it's another one of those comments that is just, it's not accurate at all. And later on, the same person that said this, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, that's why I'm not mentioning names or anything like that, they also said that they never even tried the mod. So it's like, how do you know unless you've tried it? I mean, I posted the video, in that thread so that, these people can watch it and hopefully get educated a little bit on this, because it's really a legit thing with the mod, and I'd hate to see people miss out on that. Because, they're just listening to somebody who's never tried it say that, oh, it's the same thing as an overdrive. Until you've had an amplifier in the room and tried it both ways, you probably shouldn't say anything about it, because, again, it's kind of irresponsible and you're steering people away from good options for them with bro science that has no basis at all. So, so anyways, I think that the mod is for real. It's legit. It's easy to put in. It'll literally take you about 15-20 minutes and you're done. And then you just, dial it in the way you want it. And I'm not kidding you. It's an amazing mod. And It's like giving your amp a huge shot of steroids. I mean, it just completely makes it a beast. And especially amps like the Badlander, which are notorious for not having enough of everything. Enough low end, enough gain, enough saturation, enough fullness, enough feel. And now it has plenty of all that, and now you're backing things down a little bit. So without further blabbering, let me play a few riffs on it, and then we'll shoot it out with the EVH Stealth. I'll shoot it out against the blue and the red channels on the Stealth, and I think you're going to be pretty surprised with the results. I just did a quick sound check to make sure that everything's at the right levels, and I was kind of blown away. So, I know, spoiler alert. So let's play some riffs on the Badlander with the mod now, and I'm boosting it with the odd box. Boost Karen's, yeah, this one's for you. So now let's see how the Badlander Crunch mode compares to the EVH Stealth Blue channel without the boost. And I got the gain cranked on the blue channel, and it's almost all the way up on the Badlander. If you see the picture of the EVH Stealth on this part of the screen, that means I'm playing that. If you don't see it, that means I'm playing the Badlander. Well, surprisingly, the Badlander has more gain and a better feel, more saturation, a richer sound. It's less stiff, and I still think it's retaining quite a bit of clarity, you know, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, I have the gain cranked on the blue channel. Yep, it is all the way up, and I love the blue channel on the Stealth, but it's a little drier and less saturated than the Badlander now that I've had the mod in it. So, and I'm not cranked up all the way. I'm almost all the way. I could go another notch or two, you know, but I'm pretty surprised. So let's engage the boost. I'm going to use the odd box because that sounds really good with both of these amps. And same settings. Let's go ahead and see how they compare with the overdrive engaged. Holy cow, man. I mean, I'm just double checking. Yeah, this is in crunch mode, and the gain is not cranked all the way up, and I got more saturation, more response out of the Badlander than I did the EVH Stealth, and I'm shocked. I really am. Yeah, it's the blue channel on the Stealth, but I've always loved that channel. I think it's one of the best rhythm channels out there, but man, I'm telling you, I think the Badlander, in my opinion, for what it's worth, it was just easier to play, a little more fun to play because it had that great saturation. And I'll put a picture of the settings of the amp and the mod right here in the video. And I don't even, you'll see, I don't even have the mod cranked all the way. It's just at 3 o'clock, barely, just almost at 3 o'clock. So it's not like I'm flooring everything in here, and it still works perfectly with the amp. Wow, this is insane. So let's turn off the odd box, and I'm going to put the Badlander in crush mode and crank the gain all the way up. And now I'm going to switch the Stealth to red, you know, the red channel. And I have the gain on the blue channel cranked all the way up, which, as you know, if you crank the gain on the blue channel all the way up while you're in the red channel, it actually acts kind of like a boost for the red channel, and it adds some saturation and some really good feel to it. So, and I have the gain at like just past noon on the red channel. So even with that, let's see how they compare you know, and again, I'm on crush mode, no overdrive, gain cranked on both, you know, on the Badlander. And well, here we go. Let's see what happens. I can't believe I'm saying this because I have such a love for the Stealth, but I'm preferring the Badlander. This is unreal. I can't believe this. I feel like I'm betraying one of my favorite amps, but I prefer the Badlander now. It has a better feel, better response, richer sound. It's not so dry, it's more saturated, and I love the gain structure with this mod. It's amazing. Now, I'm not saying that the EVH sounds like crap now. I'm just saying that in a blind test, I would probably walk out of the store with the Badlander right now. And that is shocking because this amp was going to be sold a couple weeks ago. I was going to sell it. And then until I got this mod, this thing was going to be out of here. And now it's staying. And this little shootout is completely changed my mind on everything. And hopefully it changes yours as well. I still love my Stealth, but now I have another flavor that's equally as good here that I could switch to and know that I'm going to like it just as much, and it's going to stand right up to it as far as aggression, feel, tone, you know, the whole thing. I mean, it just sounds incredible. Now, let's engage the boost pedal and turn on the odd box. Keep the settings the same on the Badlander. Again, I'm in crush mode, and the gain's cranked. And I'm going to turn the gain down on the blue channel while I'm in the red channel because when I engage a boost, you don't want the gain all the way up on the blue channel while you're in the red channel. It gets way too raspy. So now let's see how they compare. I got the gain at 1 o'clock on the red channel on the Stealth. Yeah, my mind's blown right now. It's just weird. I got all this like disbelief going through me because I'm not used to the Badlander standing up to the Stealth the way that it's doing it right now. I think minimally they're equals at this point, and it's just like depends on what I'm craving that day, which one I'm going to prefer. But I would say that this amp has, with this mod, has definitely earned its way back onto my shelf, probably forever. It's like now it's everything that the Dual Rex should have been. It's just an amazing amplifier now. That mod is perfect. It's the absolute perfect mod, and I just proved how good it is by putting the Badlander up against one of the most brutal, ridiculous amps out there, and it stood up to it, and in some ways, it actually outperformed it with this mod. And I'm telling you right now, no overdrive pedal's gonna do that, because I've already tried that shit, and it didn't work. So to sum everything up regarding this whole thing, go get that mod and put it in your Badlander, and use the settings that I showed in the picture to start with, and tweak it from there. And I'm telling you, you're gonna freaking love this thing. It really does make a huge difference. And I know a bunch of people have purchased them since these videos came out about it. And chime in once you install yours and let me know what you think. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna be in agreement. Also, as a side note, I profiled this amplifier this morning, and with the mod in it, and the profiles came out absolutely perfect. They sound incredible, and they are actually up on the website right now, and there's a bunch of profiles. There's IRs, there's studio ones. I even have ones with dual cabs. I mean, I really made this worth my while, because I was like, I'm going to spend some time and just throw down and get as many profiles of this as I can for the Quad Cortex. So the Quad Cortex profiles are in the link below in the description of the video. Go get them. I'm telling you, you're going to love them. I've already sent them some really good friends of mine from Eva Under Fire, and both of them are like, holy shit, these are amazing. So go get these captures. I'm telling you, you're going to love them. And they come with a free preset with all the effects and scenes and everything that you'll probably ever need. So before we move on with the comments, I just want to say something about the Facebook groups. I've gotten some things out of being in some of these groups, and I think I've learned some things, but one of the biggest things that I've learned is there's a lot of people in these groups that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, but they continue to just regurgitate crap that they read or heard somewhere or came up with in their own head with their scrambled brain up there, and they just spew it. And just don't listen to these people. Don't listen to anyone. That's the best advice I can give you, is don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to me. Watch my video and then try it out for yourself and see if it works, you know? Because we all like different stuff, but I can't stand it when people spew this nonsense into the air and put it online, and all these people that don't know any better are being talked out of things that could be awesome, and they're being talked into things that are horrible. Just like that guy saying that the Fortin 33 is the pedal you should use on the Badlander. Dude, no, absolutely not. That is the absolute worst pedal for this amplifier. You're better off playing it without a boost if you're going to use that. I mean, the Fortin 33 is only good for big, fat, gooey, tubby amps. That's all it's good for. I mean, I've tried it, and that pedal thins out amps way too much, especially modern ones. So don't use that pedal with this amp. Get the mod, try it out, see what you think, and then go from there. All right, so now let's get on with the comments. And this first comment is on the video I did with the modded Mesa. And this is from Caddy's Jam Cave. And he says, interesting mod. Never tried one, so I don't know what all the hype is about. But I headed over to KB's channel, Kyle Bull's channel, to have a listen. And the mod just sounded like it had a bit more presence and gain. I question whether an EQ in the effects loop would give just as good of a difference at a fraction of the cost. Well, thanks for commenting. And Legendary Tones, the maker of the mod, actually answered responded to his comment in the the comment section there, and clarified some things. And Daniel's a really nice guy. So, but I just want to do this publicly also for people who might have thought the same thing. And again, I'm not disrespecting Caddy's Jam Cave's, comment, because I mean, we don't know until you try something. Maybe there's a lot of speculation going on in our own heads. Like, I wonder if an EQ would do the same thing, because again, he wasn't in the room. He didn't play it. I did. So I can just tell you, as somebody, where do I put my phone? As somebody who played it and experienced it in a room, and I've even tried putting an EQ in the loop of this amp, and it doesn't even come close to what that mod will do. So I can take the odd box for, what is it, 120 bucks, and an EQ in the loop, maybe, what, 150. So now we're at $270 between the pedal and the EQ that we're putting in the loop. And even with those things combined, they're still not as good as the mod, which isn't very much more. I think it's like 320 bucks for the mod. So I think you're just better off spending the money on the mod and getting it done right, and it's going to sound a lot better and solve all of the problems that you have with the Badlander. But I do appreciate your comment, and I'm glad that you brought it up, so it gave us a chance to, answer it. And maybe this information will be helpful to other people who are thinking the same thing. And I don't blame you, dude. I would probably think the same thing if I didn't try it myself. All right, this next question is from Steve Ayrton 697. He said, if you had to choose, would you rather buy a QC or this ToneX plus HX effects combo and have a handful of hundreds left over for other goodies? That's a really good question. I think both pieces of gear are really good, and I think it just comes down to your taste and your budget and stuff like that. So like if I bought the ToneX and the HX effects, I would have some extra money left over for some other things. Maybe a pedal board I can put them all on, and I think that would be really handy, or just keep the money. I mean, in this economy, that would probably be the best decision. But and I think the ToneX and the HX effects are a great pairing. You have a lot of awesome effects that you can use with the ToneX, and I think the ToneX sounds are really good. I mean, I've done a lot of captures with it myself, and I think it's a great product, and the software is, I mean, it's as good as it gets when it comes to captures. So yeah, it's a tough one. It really is. I could probably flip a coin over that. I mean, obviously the Quad Cortex is probably close to twice as much more than the ToneX combined with the HX effects. I mean, it's probably a little less than twice as much more, but I guess with the Quad Cortex, it's an all-in-one unit. You just carry one thing, but I don't know, if you get the ToneX and the HX effects on the same pedal board, you're carrying one thing anyway. So it really is kind of a coin flipper. I would say that if you want to save money, then get the ToneX with the HX effects, and I don't think you're going to regret it at all. I really don't. But if you want to spend the money and have the all-in-one unit and some of the extra things like the screen and the app and all that kind of stuff with the ToneX or with the Quad Cortex, I get it, you know. So if you got the money and you don't mind spending it, I mean, go that route. But honestly, I don't think one sounds better than the other. I think they're pretty much equals regarding sound. You know, they both do a great job with the captures. So yeah, save your money and get the ToneX if you want. Or like I said, if you want to splurge and get everything all in one, you know, thing, then get the Quad Cortex. Either way, you can't lose. And I know I went full Sweden on that, but I mean, it really is the way I think. I mean, I think you can't lose with either one, you know? So flip a coin and go with what works best for your budget. All right, this next question is from Shadows Reach 1. He said, man, that is killer. Great video, man. Hey, curious, how do you go about mixing your Royer 121 and 57 in the DAW or mixer to get your tone? Do you use any EQ, compression, etc.? Are the volumes of the mics the same, or do you mix to taste? Thanks for all you do, man. Well, thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, and that was on the video that I did with the mod on the Badlander. So, to your question, I used the Royer 121 and the SM57, and I put them on the clip. There's a special clip when you buy them as a package deal. There's a clip that keeps them in phase. So they're perfectly in phase with each other, and they're right up on the grill cloth. And I got the sweet spot for the 57 right on the crease, you know, and the Royer is off to the left of it, picking up all the low mids, low end, and all that. And I do have them blended differently as far as the volume goes. So the Royer's a little lower in volume than the 57. So I got the 57 to capture the top end and the mids and that great bite and aggression from the cabinet. And then the Royer just fills it all in. So I kind of just feather in the volume. And that's how I did it. I just kept playing and feathering it in until it was like, there it is, you know. And then you push it a little too far and find out where it's a little too much, too woofy. And then you bring it back down. And I got them in the sweet spot right now. And also to your question, there is no EQ or compression on my mics at all. There's absolutely zero processing here. So what you're getting are the raw tones, and if you know how to mic a cab properly, you shouldn't have to do a lot of EQ or compression or anything on that. I understand for mixing in a studio it's a little different, but for what I do here, I found the sweet spot. It's pretty much holy ground. I don't let anybody near my mics. And I just put them there, leave them there, and they sound perfect. It's just perfectly dialed in. And again, I have the levels set just right. And I think they sound incredible. And it's a great pairing of mics. It really is. That's why a lot of studios insist on using that pairing. So I'm glad you like how it sounds, though, and I hope that helped you out. And again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. All right, this next comment is from my HeadRush Prime, a second look video. And I did a video where I did a second look at it and did the update fix it. This is from Sunscripted. And he says, I have not had this issue doing a full setup, clone, mic, cab, etc. I do like it, by the way. You might want to call HeadRush directly about this issue before making a video about how you feel it is not up to snuff. I can't seem to find any other videos having this much of a problem. Tech support first, then make a video is usually a great professional way of voicing opinions. Great tech support. Call them. Well, thanks for telling me how to run my channel, dude. I really appreciate that. Would you mind pitching in around here and paying for some of my shit so that you can have some say? Give me a freaking break. First of all, I did call them. They actually reached out to me as well and asked me to send them the bad captures that I did, or the bad clones, so that they can study them and make the improvements. So I had several phone calls with, I believe his name was Mike over there, and I helped them immensely with all the information that I shared with him over the phone and emailed him, and they admitted that there were some problems. And I sent him the bad clones so that they can analyze them and make the improvements. That's why I made that second video. So regarding the whole, like, you know, call tech support first, blah, blah, blah. Dude, this channel is a gear review channel. I'm not some random guy just buying stuff and then it doesn't work and then I bitch about it on the internet. I'm a gear review channel, a gear demo channel. If the gear sounds great, I'll tell you it sounds great. If I have issues with it, I'll tell you I had issues with it. If it sounds great but there's some other issues, I'll tell you that too. I'm an honest gear reviewer. And the thing is again, because they admitted to me that there were issues, you know, in the conversations that I had with them, means they already knew about it, but they released the product anyways. So what am I supposed to do? Cover up for them like the other channels did? Or am I supposed to just be honest with my subscribers about what I experienced with the gear? I don't know. Since you like telling me what to do, maybe you can tell me what I should have done there. Should I have covered up for them? How do I know, how do you know that the other channels hid all that stuff? Because the funny thing is, you know what's weird? I don't see those other channels doing anything with that product anymore. They did one video with it and stuffed it in a closet and collected their check and laughed all the way to the bank. I don't see any other videos with that unit. None. They've all forgotten about it. So I don't know who's doing things better around here, me or them. You know, maybe that's a question you need to ask yourself. You know, the stuff that I like, I prove that I like it because I use it consistently on the channel. I use the quad Cortex all the time. I've used the Helix, I've used the HX effects, I've used the ToneX, I use these amps, I use all the stuff, even the stuff you don't see, my whole pedal board. There's all kinds of stuff here that I consistently use on this channel. These guitars, you know, I don't just review something, collect my money, and then throw it in a closet somewhere. I genuinely like this stuff. Now, if I genuinely liked the HeadRush Prime, I would use it. But it still has issues, and it was rushed. And if you remember, when you got the HeadRush Prime when it was first released, it did not have the cloning software in it. You had to update it to get that. What does that mean? It means that it was rushed and it wasn't tested enough, and they literally last minute put it out there without it being fully tested. Just like a lot of digital companies do now. They just throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And hopefully there's enough dumbass YouTubers out there who cover up for them, especially if they get paid enough. That's literally how it is, okay? So as far as I'm concerned, anybody covering up for stuff like that can kiss my ass. It's bullshit. And again, if you really want to know what YouTubers really like, watch their channel for a while before you buy something that they recommend, and see how many videos they do with it, and see how often they bring it out and play it. And if they don't play it at all, like a lot of them didn't do with the HeadRush, don't buy it, because that means it's genuinely not a good product, or it's just not ready for prime time yet, pun intended. All right, this next comment is from my last Riffs and Responses video, Riffs and Responses 27, and this is from MT Selmella 80, I think. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He said, "That's so awesome that you opened for Striper. That would be an honor." I think I told a story about that in that video, or I don't remember. I probably should have watched the video before I did this one, but yeah, we opened for Striper twice, I think, when I was in a band, and that was quite the experience. You know, there's this shady pay-to-play system here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not in a band anymore, because this area here is just a cesspool of shady promoters and clubs. So basically how it works is they book a band, the band has a minimum, okay? They have like their guarantee. Let's say it's $10,000 to play at their club. So what these shady people do is instead of promoting the show and trying to get people to, you know, genuinely come to the show to watch this band, they reach out to all the local bands and say, who wants to open for so-and-so? And a bunch of people like, yeah, I'll do it, blah, blah, blah. And then they come and they pick up their tickets and they're like, you got to sell 30 tickets at 30 bucks a piece and you're responsible for the money whether you sell all the tickets or not. We need the $900 before we even let you in the door the day of the show. So whether you sell the tickets or not, you got to bring in your $900. And they bring in like 5 bands. Well, what does that do? That covers a lot of the band's guarantee, and the rest of the general admission tickets where people buy them online or whatever cover that. Now, if there's an overage, which a lot of times there is, because everybody, you know, either sells the tickets or brings in their money, then who pockets that? Well, because the band got, you know, they're $10,000. So let's say there was $13,000 worth of tickets that were sold. Well, guess who gets that $3,000? The promoter. And what did he do? Nothing. He put a Facebook post out and the bands did all the work, and the greedy son of a bitch doesn't even share a dime of that with them. You don't even get drink tickets, you get nothing. So that was my experience opening up for Stryper and every other band that came through here, and it was an absolute joke. I mean, was it an honor opening for Stryper? I don't know, to be honest with you, because there was 2 sides to the bar. There's like the smaller stage on the bar side, and then there's like the theater side, which is like the big stage, you know, with the bigger sound system, and it's all general admission on the floor, no seats, you know, everybody stands and cheers and does the whole thing. Well, we sold enough tickets to be able to earn that spot on the theater side, and that was the agreement. Well, when we got there that night, you know, I had my envelope full of cash, and we come in and we sold like $1,280 worth of tickets, and they were like, and I remember Stryper's manager and the booking agent were standing there, and they're like, yeah, you got the money? And I'm like, well, from what I've been hearing from the other bands, the theater side is closed to all the local bands. Stryper just needs that. And she looked at me and she's like, yeah, we want that side to ourselves. I said, well, the agreement was that we are having we're to have direct support for Stryper on that side, and that's why we sold the $1,280 worth of tickets. And she goes, well, just hand us the money and we'll get that worked out. I'm like, no, you're going to get that worked out and then I'll hand you the money. How's that, lady? Because I'm not just going to hand over this money and then now I have no recourse if I don't get my way. So I'll be in the freaking Winnebago Chalet out in the parking lot waiting for your answer. So just come knock on the door and let me know when you're ready to talk. And sure enough, they came out and they were like, well, you know, Stryper really does need that side. And, you know, sorry, you're going to have to play on the other side. So if it was up to me, I would have taken our money, because it was our money. We sold the tickets. And I would have started my freaking Winnebago and drove off and just said, screw you guys. You know, I mean, you broke the deal. I'm keeping the money and I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm just going to go home and order a pizza or whatever. You're the one that broke the contract, so you don't get your money. And if it was up to me, that's what we would have done, but the band wanted to play, so we ended up playing on the other side with a smaller stage and all that. It was 800 billion degrees in there, and then they had the audacity to cut our set short. We were supposed to get a 40-minute set. We got a 25-minute set, and we had all these songs planned, and I was switching guitars, and the sound guy shut our stage off and said, that's it, next band, because they overbooked the bands that were supposed to open. And since Stryper kicked everybody out of the theater side, we all had to cram into this other side and have shorter sets. So it was an absolute nightmare, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not in a band anymore, because this area is just full of disgusting pieces of shit who run things around here, and it's an absolute joke, and I got sick of it, and you'll never get anywhere here. It's just terrible. So I'd rather do what I'm doing here. I'm happy, and I don't have to deal with human garbage anymore, and liars, and just giant sacks of shit that are in this industry here. And if there's other people around here that are crazy enough to deal with that, then hey, go ahead. Whatever makes you happy, but I got out of it because it's not worth my time. So A long story short, was it an honor opening for Striper? No, it sucked. It really did. It was one of the biggest disappointments of my career, if you want to call it that, musically. And you know, we stayed together as a band for several years, but we just thought it would get better, and it never did because of all the shady trash that's around here. So there is a new club that opened up here that recently that's really good, but that and the Machine Shop are the only two clubs that I would consider playing around here. Machine Shop is amazing, but you can't always just play there. You know, it's just the way it is. So that because of all the shady stuff, I got out of playing in a band, and yeah, I'll probably never do it again. But all that being said, I really like what I do here a lot better, so I'm kind of glad that the road led me here because I'm a lot happier doing this. All right, this last comment is from the video I did titled How I Use the HX Effects with the ToneX, and this is from Jose D, I think. He said, "Thanks, this is very helpful. Additional tip I just found out. You can change the HX return in the global settings from instrument to line to avoid volume drops, since the ToneX puts out a line signal. Thanks again, you helped me save an effect block because I thought I had to dedicate a block for the send, LOL." No, you're welcome, man. That's what this channel's all about. And I have to say, like, again, like, I think the ToneX and the HX effects are a great pairing, and I'm glad that you found the video helpful. And I appreciate you sharing that tip with me because maybe some people that are watching right now have been having issues with the volume levels. So that's something I got to double check on mine too. Thanks for the reminder. So I'll look into that too. And I'm here to learn from you guys as well. So. But I'm glad you found the video helpful, and I hope you're enjoying your ToneX and your HX effects combo. You know, they, again, are a really good combination. And another thing I want to mention really quick is I want to thank everyone who's been purchasing my preset and capture packs from my website, tonewars.com. I really appreciate that very much. I mean, like I said, I offer, the ToneX, Quad Cortex, and the KEMPER profile capture packs, and they've been selling quite a bit lately, and I really appreciate that. That really does help me keep the lights on here because YouTube does not pay that much at all. It really doesn't. You have to do all this other stuff to supplement your income if you're a YouTuber. So that being said, I really appreciate that, and I'm telling you, I'm going to take this opportunity to persuade you to go buy the capture pack for the Quad Cortex of this amp with the mod in it. I'm not kidding you. It sounds incredible. It really does. So, and it sounds exactly how you heard it here. So if you liked what you heard in this video, that's exactly how it sounds in the Quad Cortex. And I did it with the Variac on, the Bold on. I did different, the settings with the gain. I did crush and crunch modes. There's tons of DI captures. This is probably the most DI captures I've ever done. And some are a little darker than others. I mean, there's just, a pretty good variety for you there. And then I also did dual cabs with the Zilla and the Mesa. The DV77 and the Zilla pairs really well with the Vintage 30s and the Mesa. I did single cabs with the Mesa as well with that great mic combination. I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't like these, you're freaking crazy. This is one of the best packs I've done, and I really, really like it. And I'll be playing it tonight. Actually, when we're live, I'll be playing it tonight. So, well, again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. And I try to give you the best tones I can on the channel. And I'll be doing these same captures for the ToneX very soon as well. Well, to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, thank you so much. And if you're new to the channel and you like what I do here, please subscribe because I got a lot of great stuff coming up. And I'll see you on the next one. Now I got to edit this freaking video. See you guys later.